Alright guys, we're back with some more Monster Energy Supercross 25 early gameplay. This will probably be the final early gameplay that we have on the channel before the game actually comes out. I believe it's coming out April 10. So today I wanted to show you kind of an early preview of some of the motocross tracks here. I have 3 of them. There are 6 in the game. 6 tracks, 6 original motocross tracks, and one thing I do want to say right away is that I don't believe there is a compound. I think this is a different direction that Milestone wanted to go with this game. So instead of having a compound with some, free riding, a big open compound with a couple supercross tracks, 1 or 2 motocross tracks, and maybe some trails, they decided to do some original motocross tracks. And while I am an old school guy, I do prefer usually I do prefer the compound, and every Supercross game I believe has had one. Supercross 2 I believe had 2, one DLC and then one that was just in the game, kind of modeled after Ryan Dungey's cornfield track. This is really cool, and I think in the long run this will probably be better. I don't know, I'm assuming these tracks will probably be, all 6 motocross tracks will be multiplayer raceable, which will add to the longevity of them. But also, if you did catch the developer interview that we did on the channel a few days ago, a week ago, I'm not sure when you see this video, the motocross tracks will be kind of integrated into the career. Now, I haven't done the career, but that's what was said in the interview. So not only hopefully they'll be multiplayer, or you'll be able to race these in multiplayer, but also they're put into the career where you probably do it during the week or on your off week or whatever during the career, whatever the case might be. So pretty cool. These tracks, I have 3 of them. This would be Gold Ridge, I believe. One of my favorites, actually. Really cool setting. I mean, I've said it before. I always really love, that cold winter snowy setting in video games in general. And then, to have it in a motocross game is just icing on the cake. So really cool track, a bunch of elevation here, big hills, big jumps. I mean, these jumps are huge. Very cool track, long track. Now, I haven't, I didn't do any races with the AI. I obviously haven't raced in multiplayer. I don't know what the terrain deformation, because people have been talking about it. There is terrain deformation in the game. There is working terrain deformation in the game. I had a build from November. That was a long time ago. Most of the footage you're going to see is from that build, this included. This footage is from all the way back in November of 2024. And what I was doing was just doing a lap and then resetting myself. So I don't know if that was resetting the terrain deformation or whatever, but there is working terrain deformation in the game. We talked about it. The developer interview talked about it. So I don't know about that. The tracks, cool design, big jumps. This one, again, was one of my favorites. There's 6 of them. And there's another track that is kind of similar to this one. It isn't really the snow setting, and it might not have quite as much elevation change, but it's a very long track, really big jumps, more of a muddy evening setting. Really cool. I can't show it to you in this video, but you have that to look forward to. So one thing I do want to ask about, because again, from the early build that I was able to test, I did not see a compound, so I don't know. We kind of know what the DLC plan is for Supercross 25. We know there's going to be some Milestone gear or graphics kits, their original stuff, and then the 2-stroke bike pack is going to be split up into 2 different DLC drops, and then the 3 playoff super motocross tracks will be leading up to September. So we kind of know what the DLC plan is. If there isn't a compound, I didn't see one, there probably won't be, but I'm really curious to see what you guys think. Do you think the motocross tracks, the 6 motocross tracks, was a better idea, or did you prefer the compound? Again, I'm a bit old school with the way the Supercross games are, so I always appreciate the compound, but I do think overall in the long run, these motocross tracks, assuming they're multiplayer, will probably give you more replayability, I guess. Now, we switched over here. This would be Mount Rushmore. I believe that's what it's called. You can see the Mount Rushmore monument in the background. You can kind of see it while we head around the track. Really cool track. Elevation, kind of some rough stuff. There's some acceleration bumps, braking bumps kind of pre-made into the track. It is a shorter track, but still very cool. Now, there is another track similar to this one. I think it's called Geyser Falls, maybe. Now, I can't show it to you in the video, but kind of cool, kind of a similar, dirt color setting and whatnot. So, very cool. It was a cool idea, cool setting. So, the last track I have to show you would be the Extraterrestrial Valley, which you have seen before, but I wanted to put it in the video if you never saw that video. So 3 tracks to show you as a preview today. There are 3 other ones, and then the one track I didn't really talk about would be similar to Extraterrestrial Valley, where it's in a desert. I believe it's a deserted quarry. Again, I can't show you in the video, but it was really cool. It was a really cool track, and I really enjoyed it. And that track actually, I know you can't see it, but that track actually had more, the width of the track changed more. It varied a bit more, where it would get more narrow, and then it would get a bit wider. These tracks are more kind of the same, where it's the same width for the most part. I mean, it varies a little bit, but it kind of stays the same. So really curious to see how you guys feel about the compound, which you prefer. Do you prefer this idea of using 6 original motocross tracks, or would you prefer to see a compound? Let me know down in the comments. Now, to wrap up the video here at the very end, I do kind of want to talk about the interview video. If you guys saw it, how you feel about the changes. So there were a majority of the concerns and the criticisms that I saw for the game were about the track. The berms being too flat and the jumps being too small, too rolled off, and needing more of a peak to them. That was like a majority. Yes, there was other complaints and concerns and criticisms, but a majority of it had to do with the tracks. And Milestone listened to you. You guys made enough noise and put out enough comments and stuff that Milestone heard you and has went back and is going to be adjusting the jumps on all the tracks and some work on some of the berms. I don't know if it'll be every corner, but, some. So it's really cool. I don't know, this is one of the first times I can think of that Milestone listened to you guys and heard you and then decided to make the changes and adjustments before the game came out. So this is it's really cool. It's good to know that Milestone is listening to you. No, they probably won't get every criticism. They won't get every tiny feedback you have, incorporated into the game before it releases. But this is a good start. It's a good start. The tracks definitely needed to be adjusted. We know that they built them basically off of a track map. So, the tracks were built before the season even started. So they didn't really know exactly how the track would play out. And they're going back and trying to make it, more realistic, bigger jumps, more challenging and whatnot. And from the preview we saw at Glendale, maybe we can't hit every single line that they hit in real life. For example, that huge 80-plus foot triple over the start straight, but it definitely is better. The jumps are bigger. They have more peak to them, and it just appears as if they'll be more challenging, right? So I just wanted to talk about that. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Did you feel like, I know it was just a small preview of what they've done, but how did you feel about what you saw from Glendale? Did you feel like, based off the first version you saw in the first video that we did on the channel, comparing the two of them, did you feel like it was a lot better? In my opinion, I feel like it was a ton better than the way it was before. And again, how do you feel about the motocross tracks, which is what we're, the main part of the video is. Do you prefer the tracks or the compound? So, this is probably, again, I said at the beginning, but probably the last, early gameplay preview that I'll have for you. We'll probably do some career, maybe does your track suck, probably get a review in after we get to play. You know, I get to try out the whole game and, you know, see what it has to offer. I haven't tried track editor, career, customization, stuff like that I haven't been able to try out before we do the review. But you guys, girls, are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.